So Megyn Kelly went on News Nation and debated Dan Abrams on the Trump guilty verdict. And this got pretty fucking heated. Let's dive in.
I believe this jury had no choice but to conclude as it did because the judge led them right to the fountain of guilt and said, drink, horsey, drink. So they did. So I don't have much disdain for the jury or its decision because they followed the instructions that this judge gave them. But I have a lot of disdain for this judge, and not to mention this prosecutor. And I think they were working in concert the entire time to do one thing, which is fulfill Alvin Bragg's campaign promise to get Trump. And I have to say, I really disagree with what Cuomo said a minute ago, which is Trump only has himself to blame for this particular problem. That's just not true. That he has a partisan hack of a DA to blame for this particular problem, a DA who doesn't want to prosecute any crime unless it's by a man named Trump. He had the number of legal hoops that he had to jump through.
Okay, well, that's just absurd. This argument that, like, no other crimes are even being, convicted because Donald Trump is the only focus of everybody. Come on, you know an argument like that is not going to fucking land. You know an argument like that is not going to land because it's just patently untrue. And even to the he said he was going to go after Trump. Okay, if somebody said they were going to go after fucking Charles Manson, hooray. Said they were going to go after some other criminal, good. Why with him is it like, how dare you? Because I don't know, do they fundamentally buy in on some level to this idea that I did nothing wrong, I did everything right, it was perfect? Does Megyn Kelly really buy into that? Perhaps the reason he was charged with crimes and found guilty of said crimes is because he committed said crimes.
In this case, in the first place, were too numerous to outlay on this brief program. And he had a judge who allowed it at every turn.
Interesting. I would make the argument and show you that I'm right, but we don't even have enough time, so I'm going to move on.
I mean, the past couple of days, Dan, I've been talking to Garagos, Dershowitz, Mike Davis, Dave Ehrenberg. These are guys on all sides of the
total fucking assholes.
Political aisle, not just lefties or righties, who still are confused about exactly what it was Trump was charged with.
It's not even remotely confusing.
The judge was complicit, and it was not a valid claim, not from the start.
But
and it
again, you're separating out almost the moral from the legal. I mean, Cuomo was making a moral point. I think.
Okay, so listen to how Dan Abrams really simplifies it and breaks it down for Megyn Kelly, and how obstinate she is in the face of this very reasonable explanation and reasonable questions.
There's wrongdoing here, right? There was definitely wrongdoing. Whether it should have been a crime is a separate.
No, there was no wrong. There was everything. He did everything right. Why do all the Trump supporters morph into Trump in a moment like this? Everything is perfect. I did everything right. Nothing was ever wrong. Everything was good.
What's the wrongdoing? All right, number one, it's paying $130,000 to a porn star to keep her quiet. That's to try to protect your campaign. Can we at least agree that?
Nobody's saying that's illegal, Megyn. Nobody's saying that's illegal. Wait for him to fucking finish speaking. Finish speaking. My dyslexia kicked in hard, son. Holy shit. All right, here we go.
One, it's paying $130,000 to a porn star to keep her quiet. That's to try to protect your campaign. Can we at least agree that's wrong?
That's not illegal. It's not illegal.
I didn't say it was. No. I just said moral versus legal.
How is it wrong? Are we talking moral?
I made it clear. I'm making it.
Why is she playing so fucking dense? Yes. He's saying let's separate out the moral from the legal right now. And he's walking you down a path. Listen.
Here for a minute. I'm talking about morality versus legality, right? There's no doubt that he engaged in.
All right, I'll tell. Here's my response to that. And I said this on my show the other day. I don't know what kind of weird marriage these two have. Same as I didn't know what kind of weird marriage Bill and Hillary Clinton had. So I don't know what their covenant is in terms of what he's allowed to do on the outside of his marriage.
Again, I don't mind the sex.
It would be a serious problem.
But I'm not talking about the sex. I'm talking about the $130,000 to keep her quiet to protect his campaign.
Immoral. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing.
Really? Okay. Look, again,
if somebody runs for...
I'm sure if this was a Democrat, she'd be saying the exact same thing.
They just lose the right to have any privacy. They just have to let us see all of their dirty laundry from the moment they declare forward, or somehow they've done something morally wrong or legally wrong.
When you're doing it to protect the campaign and you are spending money on it, then now I'm going to switch back to the legal. You are now crossing the line into legal problems, right?
You aren't. No, absolutely not right.
Why not? Why is that wrong? He's literally giving you the exact logic of the jurors and why they made the decision they made. That's what he's just describing for you what is. You might not agree with it, but he's walking you through that, and you're still, no.
Correct. At every level.
Again, the idea that...
At every level. Really, Megyn.
Let me back up. And you don't think he falsified business records either?
I don't know what he did.
Oh, she was stone cold caught. don't even know, bro. I don't even know, bro. Can any of us really know anything, bro? Come on, Megyn. Trump himself made the best point about Megyn Kelly. She's trying to remain relevant by pretending she likes me. That's what Trump said about Megyn Kelly. That's what Trump said about Megyn Kelly. That is exactly what's going on here, without a doubt.
I don't know what he did. I don't think he wrote down.
What does that mean? We just had a whole trial. We heard every detail of this. How can you not know?
Let me answer.
Please.
Let me answer. I don't think he wrote down hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. Nobody who pays hush money would write down such a thing. I think he wrote down, or someone at the Trump organization wrote down, legal expenses from the drop-down Adobe menu, and that made as much sense as anything else because hush money wasn't an option. He was paying his lawyer who had made the payment to Stormy Daniels, and he was, I believe, reimbursing her, though he denied that, reimbursing him, though he denied that on the stand. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I think you pay your lawyer money because he outlaid money for you. You could easily classify that as a legal expense.
No matter what it's for, right? Even if it's illegal conduct, you can just put it's a legal expense, right?
This wasn't illegal. There's nothing illegal about paying hush money for an NDA. It's done
There's not.
all the
but when
time.
you're doing it to protect your campaign, it is. That's the difference.
No. Yeah. What law are you citing, Dan?
Campaign finance laws. You're not allowed to give
Wrong. You don't know what you're talking
What are you
about.
talking?
He doesn't know what he's talking about, even though a jury of Donald Trump's peers just sat through the entire fucking case and said, you know what, that's exactly correct. But he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Explain to me. Tell me what I'm getting wrong. Tell me what I'm getting wrong. When you're spending $130,000.
I'll explain.
Go ahead.
I get it, because you're saying that there are limits to the campaign contribution somebody can make, and this has exceeded them, and then they hit it. I understand. That's his theory. However, this has been wrong from the start.
Yeah.
It does not amount to a campaign contribution if it is the kind of payment that could ever be made outside of the campaign
context. That's not the
context.
standard.
This is a very important point for Megyn Kelly, because Trump's team failed to prove that in court. The argument that they could have made and should have made, which they, in a world that made sense where Donald Trump wasn't Donald Trump, maybe this argument would have landed. The argument is, look, you guys are saying that payment is for the campaign. In reality, that payment is because Donald Trump did not want his wife to learn about the affair that he had. So the hush money is more vis-a-vis, I want to protect my marriage. I don't want my wife finding out about that. And since that's the nature of it, then there is no real campaign violation here. So what are we doing? And even you could even probably get away with making the case that the payment was half to protect the campaign and half to keep it from Melania. And if they succeeded in making that argument, Trump wouldn't have been found guilty. They literally didn't succeed. That bare minimum bar, they couldn't clear that bare minimum bar. Because some of the witnesses, including Michael Cohen, Trump's fixer, he went up there and said, look, Trump made very clear to me, don't fucking worry about Melania. Me and her sleep in separate beds. I got that part handled. This is not about Melania at all. The fact that the jury heard that and believed that shows their interpretation of it, and Abrams' interpretation of it is correct. That, in fact, there was a crime. Now, by the way, let me be clear. Of all of the cases against Trump, this is without a doubt the weakest of all the cases. But I file that under www.idon'tgiveafuck.com. Just like I didn't give a fuck. I mean, I wasn't alive at the time, but when they got Al Capone on tax evasion, it's like, great. Guy committed 78 other way more severe crimes, but you got him on something. Great. Wonderful.
It's not. It's substantiality.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You're wrong.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I guess we're going to have to agree.
There's been Supreme Court precedent on this. Talk to Brad Smith, who was the FEC commissioner.
You're wrong. The standard is substantiality.
Megyn Kelly turning into the number one sophist in the country in order to maintain relevance by sucking up to Donald Trump. I'm sure if all these facts were exactly the same and it was a Democrat, I'm sure she'd be saying the same thing, vehemently defending the Democrat. I'm sure that's how it would go, right? Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.